everybody, welcome back to my channel, and today is another squishy makeovers. So this is the squishy I'm going to be painting. It was a frog squishy I got from like a vending machine at Great Wolf Lodge. It has a hole in its nose and it's like indent thingies, they're not indents but whatever, are ripping. He has some rips on his neck and he's missing a foot. And on the back there's this hole. And it was an air pocket that I used a green pen to try to poke because I hate air pockets. But the pen ended up being a lot darker than I expected, so it looks really weird. But the first thing I'm going to do is grab some Fabric Fusion and a little chunk of spare foam. I'm just going to trim it up a little bit to make a smaller chunk. That way I can glue the chunk on and then trim it to size later on. I was just making sure it fit right, and then I'm opening my Fabric Fusion and grabbing a spare pencil that I don't need and just dipping it in there and gluing the foam on. Okay, now I'm grabbing this hair tie or bracelet or whatever, and I'm rubber banding that to keep pressure on it while it dries. What I didn't anticipate was that the glue stuck. Even though I only put glue on the place where the foot was supposed to go, it somehow spread to the body, so the foam stuck to the body and not only the foot, so that was a problem. Now I'm just gluing up his eyes, and can I just stay in the frame for 1 minute? I don't know what was wrong with me, but I could not stay in the frame for most of this video. Okay, so now you might notice that there's some blue stuff all over it. I just used some slick paint and I covered it while I was not filming because I don't like to film every single second of my videos. It just gets boring. So anyway, I covered like the eye socket thingies and the nose hole with paint, and now the foot should be dry. So I'm taking it off and it's very stuck on the body, like I said. So I start trying to trim it up, but soon realize that that's not good enough. Eventually, I just start picking at it to try to rip it off, but that glue really held on, so it took me a quick second. Okay, so now that I have that off, I'm going to take a chunk of piece of foam and trim it up. And now I'm trimming it to the pretty exact size and gluing it on. This worked out really well and I was satisfied with the results. Okay, and whoa, what happened? It's all blue. So this is a moment where I forgot to film. I just covered the entire thing in slick paint. Okay, so now it's time to start with the color. I'm mixing up a light green, but then I kept on adding more dark green because I wanted it to be a little bit darker, and now I'm starting painting it. So this is the color I have, but I'm thinking this is a little bit too light. I'm not liking the look of this. I mean, it's okay, but not good enough. As you can see, I have not painted the bottom, but I will deal with that later. Okay, so as you can see now, I'm darkening the color significantly, and you might have noticed at the beginning of this video, I had 4th of July nails because I started painting this on the 3rd of July, so right before Independence Day, but by the time this is posted, it's months, like a month and a half after, so I'm sorry for that. Okay, here is the final darkened color. I like it a lot more. And now I need to paint the bottom. So I have a paintbrush and I'm adding a really thick coat on the bottom. That way I can get away with only one coat. Alright, here I have my squishy. It's looking pretty good. I poked a few holes in the bottom, that way it would squish well enough because all the air was trapped in there from the slick paint. Now it's time to add some detail. I have some black fabric paint here, and I'm grabbing a sheet of paper to use as a palette because I don't really have a plastic palette. So I'm opening up this black paint and I'm going to pour a little bit on there for the eyes. I pour way too much because I only need this black for the eyes and the mouth, but it's fine. It was just a small waste. Now I have my dotting tool and I'm starting with the thick side and I'm starting to work on the eyes. Here I'm out of frame, but soon I start realizing, oh wait, I'm out of frame, so I move it up a little bit. This happens many times. Me keep on moving it up and then realizing I'm out and then moving it up and then realizing I'm out. Now I'm just adding like big black circles for the eyes, and I will add some like highlights in there later to give it a little bit more of a personality. Okay, now I am cleaning off this side of the dotting tool and switching to the thinner side, which is basically just like a toothpick. It's so thin. So I can use the mouth, do the mouth. I'm gonna do a little side smile because I was thinking that would look a little bit cuter than a middle smile. And I'm really glad I made this decision because it made this so much cuter. So now I'm trying to decide whether I want nostrils or not, and this takes a long time to figure it out. I'm using my dotting tool to try to see what the nostrils would look like. Okay, I decided not to add nostrils, but now I'm getting my silver glittery puffy paint out to use for like a bow on the back of the head or as a bow tie or something like that. I haven't decided at this point whether it's going to be a boy or a girl, but now I'm deciding that I want it to be a boy, so I'm adding a little bow tie like under his chin. At first I started using the thick dotting tool, but then I didn't like that, so I started using the thinner one. Then I didn't like that, so I started using the thicker one again, hoping that would work, and then I decided at the end to just go straight for the bottle. And look at that weird spike of hair just sticking there in the frame, saying hi. Now I'm just using the bottle and drawing on the bow tie like that. Okay, the bow tie is almost done now. So now I'm just capping the puffy paint and putting it back in. Now I'm getting some dark green fabric paint out to add some little freckles on his body. So I started with my thin dotting tool and added freckles to his cheeks. Now I'm starting to add freckles all around his body. Okay, so now I'm getting out a big container of white acrylic paint because I'm out of white fabric paint, and I'm going to add the little tiny highlights in his eyes to really make him come alive. So I'm holding him because his freckles are still not dry, so I'm holding him by like pinching an area that doesn't have wet paint, and I'm adding on his highlights. Alright, so now he's done. I'm really happy with him. I think he's adorable. He might be one of my favorite squishy makeovers. You can't really see the freckles right now or the bow tie very well, but you can see them much better in real life. I'm so proud of him. I think he's so cute, and I've decided to name him Fred, just because I feel like he's a Fred. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I hope you guys will come back to my channel again to see my next video. Bye!